Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. We are Team 3 and our presentation is titled Starbucks, Brewing Trust Through Storytelling and Strategy. Before we begin, let us quickly introduce our team members. Next. My name is Evan and here's my team, Kyoung Min, Kathleen, and Malika. Next. Our presentation will follow four main parts. I will begin with the introduction and storytelling of Starbucks. Then Kyoung Min will discuss the key issue of unionization. Then continue with Kathleen of the analysis of key stakeholders. And finally, Malika will close by bridging the narrative gap and presenting our communication objective. Next. Starbucks was founded in 1971 in Seattle, and by 2025, it has grown into a global brand with more than 38,000 stores worldwide. When Howard joined in 1982, he introduced the cafe experience that shaped the Starbucks we know today. The company mission is to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. Starbucks also created the idea of third place, not home, not work, but a welcoming community space where people can connect. One of the strongest part of Starbucks story is its employees, whom the company calls partners. This name reflects a sense of belonging and shared purpose. Starbucks is known for providing strong benefits, career development opportunities, and inclusivity programs. Partners are truly at the heart of Starbucks experience because they bring the company values to life with customer interaction. Next. For customers, Starbucks represents more than just coffee. It has become part of their lifestyle. Through consistency, personalized service, and innovation such as Starbucks app and reward program, the company built trust and long-term loyalty. Customers choose Starbucks not only for the product, but also for the experience and sense of community. Another key aspect of Starbucks story is its commitment to ethical sourcing. Today, 99% of Starbucks coffee is sourced ethically under the Coffee and Farmer Equity or Cafe Practice Program. Starbucks supports over 400,000 farmers in more than 30 countries, providing training, fair pay, and sustainable farming practices. This means that every cup of Starbucks coffee connects customer to a global chain of responsibility, fairness, and sustainability. With that background in mind, let us now turn to one of the key challenges facing Starbucks today, the issue of unionization that will be explained by Kyoung Min.
Thank you, Evan. I will now focus on the key issue of Starbucks. One of the biggest challenges to Starbucks' story is the issue of unionization. Starbucks calls its employees partners, and its brand identity is built on being a people-first company. But since 2021, more than 650 stores and over 12,000 workers across the United States have voted to unionize. What Starbucks presents as a culture of collaboration is being questioned by employees who feel that their voices aren't being heard. This tension has grown because of how Starbucks has responded to these union drives to the present day. The National Labor Relations Board has filed multiple complaints accusing Starbucks of unfair labor practices, such as retaliating against pro-union workers, reducing hours, or closing stores where union support was strong. Earlier this year, Starbucks Worker United continued to file new federal complaints, which shows that these disputes are ongoing and intensifying. This credibility gap matters for several reasons. Employees are not only a vital internal stakeholder, but also the public face of Starbucks in thousands of communities worldwide. When baristas feel silenced or mistreated, it affects how they interact with customers, and those customers' interaction would directly shape the brand. At the same time, media headlines about strikes or lawsuit damages public perception, and investors take notice because prolonged labor disputes create financial and reputational risks. The issue was also amplified by the optics of executive compensation, where in 2023, Starbucks CEO Brian Nicole earned almost $98 million, and that number was widely reported and was also contrasted with baristas' calls for higher wages and for more stable hours. For critics, this reinforced the idea that Starbucks leadership is out of touch with the everyday realities of its so-called partners. So when we ask whether there are challenges to Starbucks' story, unionization is one of the clearest examples. It illustrates how the company's narrative of being caring, inclusive employer collides with a very different external narrative of resistance and inequity. This disconnect doesn't just create internal tension, but it also risks eroding trust across all of the Starbucks stakeholders. Now, Kathleen will walk us through with the stakeholder analysis.
Okay, so I'll be analyzing Starbucks key stakeholders in relation to the issue of sustainability and ethical sourcing. For this analysis, we've selected two external stakeholders, coffee farmers and customers, and two internal stakeholders, employees and shareholders. Each of these groups have the ability to either impact or be impacted by Starbucks sustainability efforts. Coffee farmers depend on Starbucks for fair pay, stable contracts, and farming support. Customers increasingly expect affordable, ethical, and eco-friendly products. Employees such as baristas and store managers want fair wages, manageable workloads, and clear training when new sustainability policies are introduced. Finally, shareholders expect profitability, growth, and a strong environmental, social, and governance performance. Using the salience model, we can prioritize them. Customers are definitive stakeholders because they have power, legitimacy, and urgency. Their choices directly affect Starbucks' success. Shareholders are dominant stakeholders with strong influence through their financial power and legitimacy. Coffee farmers are dependent stakeholders. They have legitimacy and urgency, but limited power compared to larger corporate actors. Employees can become dangerous stakeholders if they feel neglected because their operational power and urgency can disrupt business. Starbucks needs tailored communication strategies for each group. With farmers, provide fair trade programs, stable contracts, and sustainability training. With customers, highlight process through marketing campaigns and transparent product labeling. With employees, offer clear training, fair policies, and recognition for supporting green initiatives. With shareholders, deliver transparent ESG reports and show the link between sustainability and long-term profitability. In short, Starbucks must balance the needs of farmers, customers, employees, and shareholders. By engaging each stakeholder with the right communication, the company can strengthen its sustainability goals while protecting both brand value and profitability. For the next part, I'll leave it to Malika.
Thank you, Kathleen, and now I'll be sharing ideas for bridging the narrative gap. Starbucks has built its brand on more than just coffee. It's known for being socially responsible by promoting ethical sourcing, sustainability, and community engagement. At the same time, it's a powerful global corporation with continuous expansion and strong financial performance. These two narratives, social impact and corporate growth, can sometimes seem disconnected or even contradictory to stakeholders. If left ignored, this gap can lead to confusion, skepticism, or a loss of trust from customers, employees, or the public. That's why it's important to establish a clear merged communication strategy that connects Starbucks values with its business success. Next, please. The goal is to create one consistent message that shows Starbucks doesn't just balance purpose and profit. It succeeds because of both. Here's the communication objective proposed. As said, to unify Starbucks brand narrative by transparently communicating how its global business growth is fundamentally aligned with its core values of ethical sourcing, community impact, and employee well-being, reinforcing trust and authenticity across all stakeholder groups. To support this, we've identified three key themes that should shape all communication. First is profit with purpose, which business growth makes it possible to invest more in social and environmental initiatives. And next is global reach, local impact, which every store contributes to its community, not just to the company's bottom line. And the last is growth through responsibility, which is ethical sourcing, partner care, and sustainability, which are a part of how Starbucks drives success. These pillars help Starbucks tell one consistent story internally and externally. Next, please. So, how do we turn this communication objective into action? Well, first is by internal alignment, which partners need to be aligned with the brand message, meaning that training and internal communications that connect to their roles to Starbucks missions and values. Second is customer-facing campaigns, which uses real stories and campaigns to show how customers purchase contribute to ethical sourcing, community projects, or sustainability goals. Finally, transparency and storytelling, which shares measurable impact data in accessible ways through reports, digital content, or barista-led stories. This builds trust and shows that Starbucks is walking the talk. In doing so, Starbucks reinforces that it's not just selling coffee, it's creating value for people, communities, and the planet. With a unified, purpose-driven narrative, Starbucks can strengthen its identity and maintain leadership as a socially responsible global brand. Next, these are the references used for the presentation. And lastly, thank you for listening to our presentation.